We are following breaking news this evening. The man accused of shooting and killing a Blount County deputy has been arrested.
Authorities took Kenneth Wayne DeHart Jr. into custody this afternoon. He was found in East Knoxville and booked into the Blount County Jail. And there you see his new mugshot from the jail on your screen right now. Authorities say he shot at two Blount County deputies, killing Deputy Greg McCowan and hurting Deputy Shelby Eggers. This all happened Thursday night after authorities say officers tried to pull him over for a traffic stop. They say he did not comply with officers and would not get out of his vehicle. A taser was used but didn't work.
Now, authorities say he shot and killed Deputy Greg McCowan. Once again, Deputy Shelby Eggers shot in the leg. She is home recovering. Well, tonight we have team coverage following this breaking news. We will take you to the scene where DeHart Jr. was arrested and what we know from authorities about that arrest.
Authorities did take him into custody in East Knoxville today after nearly 5 days of a manhunt.
Authorities say he was found at a home on Linden Avenue. This is just off Magnolia Avenue in East Knoxville. This a little under than 19 miles from where the shooting happened in Maryville last Thursday night. We learned about the arrest this afternoon around 3:45. Anchor John Becker is at the Blount County Justice Center now. John, bring us up to date as to what you've learned this afternoon.
Minutes ago, Robin and Brittany, I can tell you we saw a development here with that suspect being booked, as you saw that new booking photo in the Blount County Justice Center, but then leaving with a cavalry of law enforcement vehicles. And this is standard operating procedure in a case like this. If you have a suspect who is accused of shooting and killing or wounding a deputy in one county, you typically don't house that suspect in that same county. So he is on his way to a holding facility that is not in this county. That development happening within the last 5 to 10 minutes. Let me tell you what's been happening here for about the last 3 hours. Since we learned of the arrest of that suspect, we have seen more outpourings of support for the Blount County Sheriff's Office, more people paying tributes to Deputy McCowan's patrol vehicle that sits behind me, covered in flowers and notes of sympathy and love for him. I spoke to one young mother who brought her children to see this today, and here's what she had to say.
He needs to own up to his actions of what he did, and he needs to suffer.
And again, back live here at the Justice Center. We will hear from authorities within about 15 minutes at a press conference. We'll bring that to you live. What I can tell you is the decision about whether to charge this suspect and carry out with a death penalty case will be up to the District Attorney General. You hear that mother saying she's not sure that's the right move. Other people feeling differently in this community that's been on edge for days now. The big story of the day is this arrest, and we want to take you straight to the scene where it happened, again about 20 miles from where I am standing, to reporter Aaron Velasquez, who has more on the capture of this wanted fugitive. Aaron?
Thank you, John. We are here on Linden Avenue, the 2600 block to be exact. Over my shoulder, you can see the home where they captured the suspect in the Blount County Sheriff's Office deputy shooting, Kenneth Wayne DeHart Jr. The home is still surrounded by crime scene tape. It is on the corner of Linden and North Harrison. We've been seeing investigators, what I presume to be crime scene investigators, going in and out of the home for the last about an hour. We've been here since 4 o'clock when we first heard the news, and the scene is still a very active scene. One thing we want to point out is some of the damage to the home. We noticed two of the windows in the front of the home have definitely been shot out with some sort of firearm, whether it was stun guns or firearms, we do not know. We have spoken with neighbors who have told us that they have heard some loud explosions and that they were concerned when they saw these flashing lights outside of their homes. They say this is a quiet neighborhood and they never would have expected to see something like this go down here in East Knoxville. But as you can see, we'll keep you updated. And as you can see, with the scene here, just completely active with Knoxville Police Department, TBI agents, and just a plethora of law enforcement officials who are going to be doing their best to analyze this scene. And as they do that, we'll be monitoring the sheriff's office, who is holding their press conference in just shortly now, in about 6:15. We'll have that live and on air for you. We'll toss things back to you in the studio from East Knoxville, Robin and Brittany.
Aaron, thank you so much.
And you can always get the latest breaking news updates and alerts following the arrest of Kenneth Wayne DeHart with the 10 News app. It is free to download in the App Store. Well, today, family and friends paid their respects to Deputy Greg McCowan.
Law enforcement escorted Deputy McCowan from the funeral home to the church where that funeral will be happening tomorrow. The route went north up Alcoa Highway. We saw vehicles pull over on the side of the road to pay respects. The hearse was escorted by dozens of law enforcement vehicles and motorcycles. The Knox County Sheriff's helicopter also was in the sky to escort that procession. The Hearts made it to Sevier Heights Baptist Church this afternoon. The hearse did.
10 News reporter Krista Lucas is at the church right now. Krista, you talked to one of Deputy McCowan's best friends.
Yes, I did. And people who knew him, they say that it's been a really hard week for everyone in Blount County. You see hundreds of people coming and going, paying their respects. If you take a look right in front, there are officers coming, going. So it's been a really tough week for everyone out here. This is Deputy Greg McCowan with his best friend, Greg Willis.
He was very direct. And what he said, you could trust him. He was a man that loved with all his heart when he loved.
Their friendship started 20 years ago.
We met. We were actually building boats together at Mastercraft.
Willis says they bonded right off the bat.
We done everything together. Vacations, each other's houses, our families. Our children grew up together from the time they were in diapers.
He says McCowan was the first to help somebody, no matter who that was.
He was true. He was an honest man. He was bigger than life.
Behind the uniform, a human who loved to have fun.
We loved to Jeep, ride side by sides, anything outdoors that had to do with motorized vehicles.
Willis says becoming a deputy was his dream.
Always loved to serve. He loved to protect. I mean, from a total stranger to the ones that was closest to him.
Losing his best friend leaves a huge void.
That's a piece of me that'll never be filled. There is nobody that could ever take his place.
Earlier in the day when we spoke with Willis, he had told me that he really hoped police would capture the suspect and bring him to justice. It looks like his prayers have been answered. For now, I'm going to send it back to you.
Krista, thank you so much. And speaking of that suspect, we learned just a few moments ago that while he was booked into the Blount County Justice Center, he has been now moved and is on the way to Loudoun County. That's very typical that if someone is involved in a shooting or an injury involving a law enforcement officer, that agency would typically not house that suspect. So again, the suspect, Kenneth Wayne DeHart Jr., is now on the way to Loudoun County to be held.